Hey, Spuddies, Potato Whiskey here, and today I want to talk about how Civilization 7 is a new game, and the meta is always evolving. And there has been a great debate in the community about whether or not library first is worth it. Now, I'm firmly in the camp of that, like, rushing library is not very good. So, let's do a little bit of A/B testing. I'm going to go ahead and just pick a random civ, random leader combination. I'm not going to try to min-max, optimize, I'm just going to pick completely random. I will let the game choose for me. We will be playing on deity difficulty, standard game speed. Actually, you know what? We're going to play on online game speed so that we can kind of speed things up. That is something you need to consider. Different people play on different speeds. I play on standard speed, which kind of changes the considerations about the value of units. On standard game speed, for the similar amount of time of a game, a unit gets more actions. I'm a big fan of Fractal, but we'll leave it on Continents Plus, small. We'll go ahead and jump in. And I want to talk you through the downsides of going for that library, and why I don't think the library is very good. And let me be clear. It's not that I don't think the library is very good. It's that I don't think it's something you should rush. So we actually managed to get ourselves Ibn Battuta, leader of the Aksum, and we didn't actually bring any mementos here because I wanted to show this. Like, this is even good for a player who hasn't played the game before. Oh my God. Okay, this is actually a really awesome start location because it lets me show off a really, really important concept in Civilization 7. Do not settle your capital city adjacent to water. Your capital city, your palace, it gets +1 science and +1 culture for every tile that has 2 buildings adjacent to it. There aren't that many buildings that can be built on water. I'm actually so glad we spawned here. Do not settle your capital city on the coast. It's bad. You want to settle 1 tile away from the coast. So actually, if we open up the settler map mode here, we could totally settle right here, and that's as good as this one. Yes, there's also considerations here, right? Look, we've got this really nice science tile. Now that we've got a +2 science tile, that starts to be like, oh, maybe an early library isn't so bad. You know, like everything, of course, everything is situational, but when we're making general statements, we're trying to capture as many situations as possible, right? So let's go ahead and settle the city right here, okay? Pop that down, okay? You don't want to settle next to water. While water is really good for a variety of reasons, the problem is that you don't get that many buildings to build on water to get the +1 science and +1 culture from your capital city. So we're going to open up with the scouts. A lot of people also criticize me for going for so many scouts. I think honestly, that's a style thing, right? And I get it, man. You don't like that. You don't like going for that many scouts. Totally reasonable, totally fair. And it's equally valid to go for warrior. In this particular situation, I actually think going for a granary. It's one of the few granary games. And the reason for this is a lot of our best tiles in the city are actually these flatland deserts. And we're also going to want to be building the Howilts on them. We've got so much flat terrain here that we can put the Howilts on. Like there's a huge potential for like a serious amount of Howilts built in a circle like this around a monument and altar placed either here or here, probably here. This is like a specific strategy for the Aksum. Oh, I can't show you that yet. We'll talk about that later. But you can see a lot of these 1 food, 1 production desert tiles, right? They would benefit from a granary as a first because we don't have that many mining or lumberjack tiles. So this particular game, really might want to consider going for an early granary. Also, I'm going to grab this gypsum first because it's actually a 3 production, 2 gold tile. That's so much production, so much gold, super early into the game. And we will get ourselves a second scout. This is actually one of the few games where maybe rushing writing can be really good. I do generally think that going for pottery, animal husbandry is quite good. You know, this is, if there is a game to rush writing, this is one of them. So let me just, right, while we're at this fork here, I'm going to create a save. So that we can kind of come back here and we can play it through a second time and we'll do a comparison. So let's go pottery into writing. We'll grab this and we'll grab 10 food. Perfect. We're going to grow the city again. 10% science and 3 gold and 1 base science here is actually really good. So I'm going to grow my way towards the incense. I don't want to be insensitive. And I'm going to immediately start my granary. The reason being that we actually do have a lot of farmable tiles that are going to benefit from our unique infrastructure bonus. One of the few games where you do want to actually build a granary. Sometimes you want to build a granary. Not always. And generally it's not a good building, but there are situations like this where the granary is very valuable. Okay, so there's pottery. We have access to the brickyard, food and plantations, and the production on clay pits. Now, we're going to go straight to writing. Do a little scan. Let's grab the incense, 2 food, 3 gold, 1 science, plus 10% science, and it's actually worth 2 food because we built the granary, right? That's fantastic. We can now place the brickyard, getting our 1 science, 1 culture. Amazing. Right? Narrative choice, we get our 2 wildcard abilities. When it comes to Ibn Battuta, there's a few good ones. I like the production towards settlers plus the food on warehouse buildings. I think it gives you a really good kickstart to the age. Also 10% growth rate in your cities allows you to kickstart your capital. Another really good one is happiness per age and the happiness per resource. Science, 2 points in science allows you to build buildings really quickly. 2 points in culture allows you to get wonders really quickly. He's a really, really flexible kind of leader. Personally, I like to play a sort of expansionist style. So I'm going to go for the production towards settlers and the food per age on warehouse buildings. Now, I did talk about in the last episode about how we want to go for our altar first. Now, the Aksum is actually a very interesting civilization because the Hawilt here gives you so much golden culture. And then the really, really important piece for the Hawilt here is the altar and monument gain +1 culture adjacency with the Hawilti. So we want to go for Periplus of the Erythraean Sea, and then Monumentum Adulatanum, and then Mysticism. This is sort of an Aksum specific build, right? Your build is obviously always going to change slightly depending on the civilization you're playing, and culture is so important for this civ, and we generate so much culture that we're going to prioritize culture, right? Because getting these things online is actually super important for us. I'll be able to show this off now as we continue to play. We have found a wreckage over here that we can dig up. Okay, perfect. We can actually even begin a settler in Aksum while we wait for the library to finish, right? We've got really, really good yields in here. We're looking at 12 food, 11 production, 5 gold, right? Stats are looking pretty damn good. The city is even ready to grow. I'm going to grow to this 2 food, 1 production tile. Yes, technically, right? 2 production is really good, but the growth in this particular situation, growth is actually quite powerful. You could also make an argument of growing towards the Cowlin. I don't think the Cowlin is as important. It is really, really good. +2 gold for a resource tile. Yeah, I mean, the gold for the resource tile actually starts to make that a little bit harder of a consideration. So maybe it is worth it for me to grow this way, but then I would have to grow to like these bad tiles to get there, and that doesn't feel very good. Whereas I would much rather just kind of like expand this way. And I'm expanding to these tiles for a reason. It's because I plan to surround them. That'll make sense in a little while. Another 10 food. Perfect. We got a wreckage here. Food, just sending food to Aksum. I'm not really min-maxing. I'm not optimizing those decisions. I'm clicking. Grab this cairn as well. We can gypsum. You know what? Create a gypsum. That's fine. Our first settler is out. And when you're playing Aksum, right, the really powerful part of Aksum is the +2 gold on resources. So you want to try to settle cities that will capture as many resources as possible. And you want to settle on freshwater where possible. So there's definitely a freshwater city over here, for example, on one of these tiles, like maybe right there. There's also a really good, there's a four resource city up here. 1, 2, 3. So this is the furthest away that I could settle from that fish. I might settle here instead though. Both are viable. Both are fine. It's one of those style things. Do you want more water? Do you want more land in your city? Culture. Really important. We'll put another turn or 2 into settlers. All right, perfect. There's the library. We've got the Great Stele. It would be nice to build the Great Stele and the library, but I'm going to go for the library first. Place it right here. I'll finish the settler because, of course, I've already started building it. And then I'm going to grow to this tile, these 2 tiles, because I want to get my Hawiltis up. And then I'm going to go for writing 2, so we can get +1 science on science buildings and the codex. That's 3 science per turn, effectively, from that. And I think one of the things one of the conclusions I'm going to tell you about towards the end of this video is actually going to kind of blow your mind, right? We are trailing in technology. You can see here, 13 versus 31. Yeah, I'll settle right here. That's fine. And then I want to settle somewhere on this fresh water. There are, you got this resource, so I could get, be good if I could get, let me see, 1, 2, 3. If I settle here, I can get this, this, and this. That's 4 resources in a single settlement. That's perfect. Let's grow to the pearls. Gold per turn is huge. Now, someone told me that you don't want to go to the urban designation for your towns because it cripples their growth. A part of the problem is that people are playing on higher game speeds. This is the thing that's going to blow your mind. Playing at a higher game speed makes rushing writing feel so much better because there's less time for the AI to punish you. If you play on a slower game speed, it will feel so bad to rush a library. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to befriend that independent. Yeah, now we can start building our Hawilts after our library is done. And we want to go straight for Momentum Adulatanum. And we're going to use gold to start laying down these Hawilti. We're sort of planning a Hawilti circle around this tile that will have a monument and a altar on it. All right, we'll settle this city as well. Boom. Got 3 settlements out early enough. We'll grow to resources because not only do the resources give us extra gold. Again, this is sort of a very specific Aksum thing. Aksum just does crazy with gold. So you want to grow to resources. Extra 30% culture. Boom. Perfect. We can get tool making in there as well. There we go. Library is completed. Plus we got writing on the same turn. So now we're up to 22 science per turn. And that's pretty damn good. That's actually, it's not bad, right? But the problem is, this is, it's because we're playing on a high game speed, right? Because we're playing the game on a fast speed, it's disguising how bad this really is. Because everything's happening faster. You don't get a feel for how slow you're actually going through the tech tree, or rather for how slow your build is. Rather, it's not how slow you're going through the tech tree, because you're going through the tech tree faster, but your build is actually slower, right? God, it's so hard to explain. I want to build that there. I could build this here. This would give adjacency to these two. I would lose 60 gold because I made a mistake by building the How Wealth there. But the How Wealth does scale off of adjacent wonders, as would these buildings. And another thing people told me is that going over your settlement limit is not that bad. Listen, if I were to go over my settlement limit, Saba would lose 5 happiness, right? Agilis would lose 5 happiness. Every single city in my empire would lose 5 happiness. Now, as long as I have positive happiness, that's fine. But if I have negative, that's minus 10% yields. For every settlement I'm over this, and I don't have happiness to compensate, it's minus 10% empire-wide. Okay? Going over your settlement limit has to be done very carefully. People have been doing it willy-nilly, not understanding how the actual game mechanics work, right? You gotta be careful. You gotta be careful out there, man. There's a lot of things in Civilization 7 that it doesn't explain to you. And it's dangerous. But generally, you can go one city over your settlement limit without taking too bad of a penalty, okay? That would be a rule of thumb, okay? A rule of thumb that I don't think you should blindly follow. Okay, so there's a saw pit, food on pastures, production camps and woodcutters, all that stuff. If I settle here, I would capture 1, 2, 3, 4 resources, which is really good. So I'm going to go ahead and settle up over here. We want to prioritize growing to production tiles and to resource tiles as Aksum. Aksum has a bit of a different growth pattern than most civilizations. You want to go to resources as soon as possible. But we'll run these trials a couple of times, right? And so now I can go for masonry. I can go for mastery. I definitely want to go for masonry as Aksum. It's like one of their unique sort of things is that they benefit especially from masonry. These 2 tiles are actually pretty decent. I think what I'm going to go for is a great stellate, and I'm going to put it right here. Let me think about that. How badly do I want the great stellate? I don't actually want it that bad. Instead, I'm going to put a saw pit right there because this is a low quality gold and food adjacency tile, and there's still plenty of tiles that I can put stuff adjacent to this. And I want to put my warehouse buildings adjacent to my palace. All right, I'm going to put a tile right there so we can build the Howlet. I will purchase it. And now look at that tile. Beautiful, right? Starting to come online. This is Aksum's, way of opening the game. I'm going to go for another settler because we're not too far off of researching irrigation. And again, you can always go 1 settler over your limit. I get to choose a city-state bonus here. I think a 5% gold for every city-state you're choosing over is really good, particularly as a civilization that has a lot of good base gold. If you don't have good base gold, then the base gold benefits from city-states is quite good. But if you do have good base gold, well, then you don't need it, right? Monument, this is a key moment for us. Production in mines and quarries, this is why you rush masonry. Pop down this settler here. And it's turn 25, right? Turn 25, let's make a save. So we're looking at 22 science, 19 culture, not bad, right? Capital, 18 production, decent stats. Let's load back and we'll try it the other way around. Okay, so this was the turn where we made the decision about whether or not we're going to go for writing or if we're going to go for masonry. In this particular situation, we don't have a whole lot of rough terrain building, so we are going to go pottery, animal husbandry, and push, or rather animal husbandry. No, wait, what is this again? That's a plantation. Yes, okay, we'll go pottery, animal husbandry, masonry. We're going to basically follow the same thing. There's food, we grow. We're going to grow to this tile, as we did before. And try to follow similar enough moves, right, so we can kind of compare. We're going to build the granary. All right, there's pottery, food on plantations, food on clay pits, all that jazz. And we're going to go straight for animal husbandry. The city is ready to grow. We grow to the plantation, boom. And then we can immediately get the brickyard here. +1 science, +1 culture, very nice. Right, there's our +2 wildcard points. We'll go for the exact same things. Production towards settlers and +1 food on warehouse buildings. I think that gives you really good tempo. We're going to go straight for Power Plus of the Erythraean Sea, Classical Republic like we did before, and Charismatic Leader like we did before. It's basically following the same pattern. And I hope you can kind of see, right, that this doesn't feel that bad, right, when you're playing on online speed. It's like, oh yeah, well, pretty good. Like, we're going through. But if you're playing on the sort of the other speeds of the game, it changes how these builds feel. So there's the saw pit, slinger. The thing about playing on online speed is that it hides a lot of your crimes. And what I mean by that is that you don't suffer the consequences of a bad build order as much as you do on a slower game speed, because you have more turns of suboptimalness. It's kind of hard to explain. I've done the explanation before, right? But we're going to grow here, and we're going to go masonry. I'm going to put my saw pit down. I'll grab my 2 settlers before the saw pit. Oh, I forgot to grab this camp over here like I did in the last save. Whoops. It happens. Boom, little scan. Grow. Settle right there. Grab that gold tile. Awesome. Plug that into the capital. All right, we got Power Plus of the Erythraean Sea, so we can go ahead and do a purchase. We purchase that How Wealth there, where we want it. Get the culture, happiness. I'll grab the culture. because I want to get to the Momentum Adulatana. I want that altered monument gain when you're playing Aksum, right? That's like one of their unique powers. It's one of the things that makes them strong. Remember, you can go one settler over your limit pretty comfortably without suffering too badly for it. We're trailing in technology still, right? 13 to 18, not so bad. Culture's really bad. Put the monument right here. That will refund a pop that I can place here. We'll finish the settler next turn. And I'm going to purchase a Hawilti right here because it's 2 culture, 2 science, or 2 culture, 2 gold, right? And then we're going to go for Masonry 2, 20% culture, thank you very much. Tool making, all that stuff, right? We're doing basically the same, roughly speaking, the same thing. Slightly different because we're supporting different city-states, all that sort of stuff. But those aren't important details, right? Those are minor details that don't really change much. So let's come up here. We can start spending money on some of these buildings, right? Look at that saw pit. That's beautiful. We don't want to use this 2 resource adjacency tile. That's really good. This is another 2 resource adjacency tile. There's also more, there's plenty of 2 resource adjacency tiles in here. So I'm going to expand. Well, actually, yeah, I'm going to expand to the left here. Saw pit. The city's growing. Awesome. So +3 combat strength, +1 production on production buildings. So now every production building that we make is slightly better. It's like this brickyard, it's worth an extra +1 gold per turn. That might not sound like much, but it really does add up. We're ignoring riding because in this particular build, we're not going riding. We could even build the Great Stele if we wanted to. We've got 22 production in this city, 22 culture. Befriending city-states, everything is happening as it should, like it's all fine. The city has grown, so we'll grow here, we'll come in, we'll use gold. We can't purchase that just yet, it's fine. We settle this city. Boom. We want to grow to a resource. The closest resource is the sheep. Yeah, I know I'm over my settlement cap. That's life. Alter monument, gain culture adjacency with the Hawilti. I suppose you can make an argument that, you know, settling cities adjacent to coast is really important for your capital when you're playing as Aksum. But generally speaking, don't settle next to coast. There are unique situations when you're playing Aksum. I forgot about that ability because I was just trying to quickly rush through this. If you must settle next to coast, try to settle next to a single tile coast. Don't settle there. Like even here would be better. Or here. Well, no, here probably would have been the best one. But anyway, we picked up extra resources. We're a turn away from getting the Great Stele. We park down another one of our Hawiltis. We've got, what, crazy 23 culture per turn, 44 gold per turn. Let's just quickly, let me take note here, right? Snapshot. 14 science, 23 culture, and how much production? 23 production +1 wonder turn. Okay, and now let's go ahead and load up that other save that we made and sort of do a quick comparison. So in this particular game, I mean, we have a lot of money. You could argue I should have maybe, you know what? I will help this build out. I'll purchase that monument there. I'll grow to here. I'll even give it the best chance it can. Okay, and you'll see here, we've got what? 19.2 production compared to 23. We've got 22 culture compared to 23. We've got 21 science compared to 14. And I think we've got like 40, I think the other one was like 44. It was like ever so slightly more. You know, we're about to finish a settler rather than the Great Stele. We've already got suzerainty of a city-state that's giving us +5% gold, which we didn't have in the other file, right? There are some slight divergences. And you might sit here and you're like, oh, this is actually pretty reasonable. But like being down 4 production is so bad. Yeah, we'll get some of that back when we finish masonry. But the problem is, it's just like this build is not bad, okay? It is not terrible, but it's not optimal. And part of the reason that's hiding its crimes is the game speed. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab this random seed. I'm going to play the exact same game again, but on standard speed. I'm going to show you why it feels so bad to play. Okay, I think I got the right seed. I'll have to double check though. This should work if I remember how the game works. Maybe I entered the code in wrong. Let me try something. Your game random seed should have 1 increment higher number than your map random seed generally. This should work?
The people gather together.
Okay, I don't know why it's not working. Okay, I know a simpler way to show you why it feels so bad. Okay, Ibn Battuta, Antiquity Age, Aksum. We'll just play deity difficulty, standard game speed, continents plus small, everything is standard. We're just going to jump right in so we can kind of show it off. So now just keep in mind how quickly I was able to get up to a certain point. So we're going to run the trial again on a slower game speed and why it feels different. Okay, this is perfectly fine, right? We've got 1, 2, 3 resources within range of our capital. They are food resources. We've got plenty of desert, lots of rough terrain over here, which doesn't feel good for our build because we are a civilization that actually really likes flat terrain and not rough terrain. So that doesn't feel amazing. But we'll settle right here. There's Aksum. We will get ourselves a scout. So keep in mind, everything takes twice as long on this speed. And what that means is bad decisions punish you for twice as long. You have to be a lot more careful about how you move through the tech tree and how you move things. Now, because we're playing Aksum, and Aksum really likes extra gold from resources, we need to go to these resource tiles, right? And each of these resource tiles has food from it, which means we want plus from food on plantations, we want the food on pastures, so we definitely want pottery and animal husbandry. We do have a lot of rough terrain out here, but the power of these resources really encourages towards the granary early. I am going to go for a scout first, however. 2 scouts feels like a good number, and in this particular game, I'm going to get started with a brickyard. Step here, do a little radar. So now, here's a really key point where the difference between standard and online speed really comes into the fore, is it takes twice as long to befriend these independents, both in terms of just clicking this button, but then afterwards, which means they have twice as long to scout you and twice as long to punish you, right? That is the really key difference here between standard speed and online speed. There is so much more time for you to get punished by the game when you're playing on standard speed. Online speed hides a lot of your crimes. Of all of these resources, the sheep is the best, +2 production, +2 happiness, and it's also a 2 production tile, so I'm going to grow to... If I grow here, I could place 2 warehouse buildings on this tile. Let me think about that. Where is my Hawilti carpet going? Science, adjacency right there. I don't have very good Hawilti in this game. I'm going to grow here, even though it's worse, because I plan to put 2 buildings down on top of it. I'm going to use a population bounce when the city hits its next pop. So yes, I suffer slightly for a little while. In fact, I could take the gold. That gold is really good. At the cost of 6 gold for 40 food, that's insane. Basically allows me to pull that off immediately. I grow to the sheep. I come in here. I can place the granary on this tile, but I don't actually have to finish it. I just bounce the population to a different direction. The dates and the incense. So that was a really nice pro little move. Sort of little tips like this that you want to keep an eye out for. 15 production. We don't really have anything we can really build, but I'll take the production. And because we have 3 food resources within range of our capital, I think going for an early granary is a good play. Normally, not the greatest play ever, but in this specific situation, because we have so many food resources, food resource tiles, God, look how many barbs are scouting me, right? Oh God, I'm going to be up against it if I'm not careful. And again, these are the kind of things that are hidden by higher game speeds. You don't notice this when you're playing on those higher game speeds. So grow to the dates. +2 food, high food tile. Our growth tempo in this city is going to be fantastic. I can get a spearman. Ooh, early spearman is sick. Costs me just a few turns of gold. That's fine, honestly. We're playing a civ that has really good gold. So losing a few turns does hurt more than on average, but it's fine. Yeah, I know I'm making negative gold per turn. Hopefully I'll be able to figure that out. Look how many hostile city-states we have near us. This is definitely the kind of game that maybe it calls for discipline first and going down the discipline tree and clearing out these city-states. We've also found Augustus. You always want to do... and remember, this uses up 2 turns of your influence, which means it's going to take us 2 more turns to even begin to befriend some of these. Clearing them is really valuable. I could theoretically send my spearman out here to wipe this guy out ASAP. I'm going to put a turn into a settler. Ooh, take 75 damage or take happiness. I'm going to take the happiness here because I don't want to take damage on my scouts because I only have 2. There's pottery. We get the food on plantations, production on clay pits. Perfect, perfect, perfect. We're going to get the brickyard next. I would rather get the science and culture from getting the brickyard up than getting my settlers out. This is really powerful. I'm only going to accept it though because I want to save influence. And now I'm going to go ahead and save right here. And this is sort of the fork in the road. Do we go for a riding rush? Okay, and this game we will. Or do we go for the animal husbandry into masonry rush? I send my spearman out to see if maybe I can think about clearing this.
Close to the western side.
We found Mount Kilimanjaro, awesome. And I'm not narrating every little decision that I'm making. I'm kind of just playing fast and loose because I'm just trying to demonstrate the general principles rather than like going into specific super hyper detail in this particular one. All right, there's our 2 wildcard attributes. In this particular game, I recommend the 5 combat strength against independent powers because we're dealing with 1, 2, potentially 3 hostile independent powers. There's likely to be 1 in here as well. In fact, I'm going to come back here and scout that just to be safe. I've seen 3 hostile scouts, which implies 3 hostile city-states. Let's grow to the incense. It's another great tile. We want to get our gold tiles online. And in this particular game, while I would love to rush for the Hawilt, I've got so many aggressive city-states that I want to go for discipline. I'll take culture. The civ benefits a lot from high culture. I will take the +2 culture on the palace. That'll shave... hopefully 2 turns, yeah. Shave 2 turns off of the discipline tech. That's a really big deal. We're also going to grab the expansionist trait to get the 25% production towards settlers and 20% culture. Classical Republic, awesome. Toolmaking, in, boom. Yeah, there's definitely a hostile city-state somewhere down here, like I predicted. These are the sort of moves that you only start to get. Oh yes, influence. Influence is so huge. These two I'm probably going to clear, but a third one I might consider befriending. You stay there healing. We've got another goody hood over here. So we're getting much luckier with goody hoods on this run. Our start was a lot less cramped. Ouch, you got blasted. Nagtapunan, this one is far enough away that I can befriend it and get really strong military benefits from it. The further away a city-state is, the easier it is to befriend. Closer ones you probably want to wipe out. First settler completed. Let's get our second settler rolling. The big thing, again, as Aksum, is you want to get access to a lot of resources. So like this tile right here, it's coastal, plus it has 3, 4, 5 resources within range. That's really, really strong for Aksum. It doesn't feel amazing that it's so close to the capital, but it's fine. Culture first, usually. Culture is more valuable than science early in the game because you don't have a lot of cities to build a lot of buildings in. Ooh. Influence is nice. Spearman is parked here mostly to catch and intercept any raiders that get triggered by Jieshi. More hostile city-states. Ouch, 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 ouch. We're going to settle this city. There's Taekwondo. And the first thing we want to do is grow to one of these tiles and then assign that resource to the capital. Another settler has been schlocked out. There's a lot of resource potential in some of these cities. The problem is our vision isn't super amazing. We do like coastal cities as Ibn Battuta. Ideally with only a single coastal tile adjacent. That's why I was very happy to settle kind of quote-unquote lake coastal. 2 is fine, but you don't want to settle next to a 3. 1, 2, 3. This city right here would capture 1, 2, 3, 4 resources, lots of gold, lots of stuff. No mountains or anything like that. We could rush out to Mount Kilimanjaro. It's got really good production and happiness. Roma is going to compete for these for sure. Thinking here's pretty good. Captures 3 resources, 4 actually. And doesn't compete with my capital for too many tiles. We'll get our third settler out now. Remember, it's safe to go 1 over your limit, generally speaking. It does hurt your empire, but not as much as usual. So there's the free army commander. In this particular game, I might actually consider going all the way down the mastery to get the Gate of All Nations. I might go for, this sort of heavily bottom half of the tech tree, but Aksum gets so much benefit from the Hawilt that it's kind of hard not to go for it. It's such a great building. We're going to go ahead and spread to the incense, 10% science, really good. We met Confucius, we'll give him a friendly greeting because we're a chill guy. And notice it's turn 23 and we haven't even got writing, right? You compare that to the previous game, this is why, okay, it's so deceptive when you're playing on those high game speeds that you feel like, oh, turn 13, I've got plus 10 science, but like, dude, oof. You tried to do that build on a slower game speed, you're gonna be punished. Okay, we're growing here. Again, we just want to grow to resources. We're a save that loves gold. Coming into Taekwondo, we can't quite afford to upgrade these things. I'm going to accept Confucius's offer. I like to save my influence towards dealing with city-states that are far enough away for me to not need to conquer them. Settle our third settlement. And get a 15% production boost towards buildings in Aksum. That's nice. We can get a codex or influence. I'm going to take the codex. Plus 2 science per turn. Very nice. We'll take the incense. Boom. We'll assign that to the capital. We're going to move out the sheep to Taekwondo. Put the incense in there for the extra science. A little bit of an optimization. There's library. We also have the Great Stele and research initiative. Awesome. We can't even reach the good tile yet. Oops. Maybe we should have gotten animal husbandry first. Oh, we can't even build this. Ah, right. Little small things like this are going to bite you in the ass. This is what you got to pay attention to. I can't even put my science building on the tile that I really want to put it on because I just can't. This is why you get your warehouse buildings first, right? But now, because I made that mistake, look how long I have to wait so long. I'm going to be punished for so long for that mistake. All right, attack Jieshi. We want to level up our commander. The meta for commanders, you want to get initiative if your plan is to move around the map and kill city-states. +1 movement while on land and ignoring terrain movement restriction penalties. Really good for moving a commander around the map to clear out city-states. It's my personal recommendation. We just want to slam this until we kill it. It's worth 25 experience to clear it, plus 100 production in the capital, which might allow us to crack out something like the Great Stele. I'm going to send this settler more northernly. We'll clear this with our spearmen. Almost done. We're going to grab the Great Stele. We'll park it right there. We can build through it to get the +3 adjacency on that. Thank you for opening borders, good friend. Diplomatic endeavors, I'm just accepting, or I'm rolling over. I'm letting them do whatever they want. I don't necessarily care. Gungne, we would love to befriend that. It's an economic city-state. We love those. All right, that's a bit of a problem, so I'm going to pause with you and fortify with the army commander while my spearman heals. It's a good opportunity to earn a bit more experience. We're going to grab the salt. Salt isn't particularly useful right now, so we're not going to park it anywhere. I guess in theory, if we want it to be optimal, we could move the sheep out, but that's 2 production. That is going towards a wonder right now. That has a lot of value. All right, let's grab the initiative promotion as we wanted it to, or maneuver, or whatever it's called.
There is one tree.
We found the redwood forest. Neat. Fortifications are complete, which should give my unit better defenses. It took 26 damage or something last turn. It should take less now. The city is ready to grow. Let's grow to the pearls. We've lots of gold to spend, and it's probably suboptimal that I haven't spent it yet, but it's fine. These are good resource adjacency tiles. That's mountain adjacency, so I'm just going to build it here on the river. Get that brickyard down. That's +3 gold per turn. That adds up. Let's go for riding mastery now, because we're going to be able to go for our thing soon. At least 3 resources in this city, which feels awesome. 4 resources now, even better. My spearman has to heal up. I'm going to buy a slinger to send out to assist. Uh-oh, a barb raid. The city has grown. We want to grow to the fish, ideally. So I'll grow to this tile because I can fish and key on it to bounce it. And we will settle our next city right there. Happiness goes down to nothing, practically, which sucks. Ugh, that feels so bad. That's why we don't like going over our settlement limit. It just doesn't feel good, and it punishes you so much more on higher game speeds, because I'm going to be at least 15 turns of suffering penalties, right? Like, it feels so bad to do these things. To play in these ways that are common to play on different game speeds. I'm going to move my army commander 1 tile to the left so that my slinger can be inside the range when he fires, as I soften this guy up. So we have access to our Hawilts now, so we could purchase them for 120 gold. I'm a little bit more interested in getting my saw pit down in Taekwondo. I will go for Monumentum, but we don't necessarily want to do that when we're playing this particular version of the Aksum, because we're not building our monuments early, we're getting our libraries up early. Like, just like playing this feels so bad to be this slow. Like, I just feel so slow going library first. It's like, I got a little bit unlucky that the 100 production from clearing this city encampment got delayed because of a spawn. +4 gold right here, coming into Taekwondo. You drop this saw pit here. Now, someone was saying, like, you know, you really cripple your cities if you turn them into urban centers, but like, this is going to be a city anyway. Like, really, it's already at practically the cheapest possible price, whereas that urban center, it's like so good. Listen, it's only good in the places that you actually want to turn into cities so that they don't suffer the negative growth for too long. Okay, I lost a scout down here, that's fine. Right, there's riding 2. Let's grab masonry. It's really good for Aksum. Army commander leveled up. Initiative. The combination of these 2 promotions allow you to hunt down city-states pretty clearly. Then we go ahead and pop it. There's 100 production. That will instantaneously finish the Great Stele. Then we can come into the capital. And I can't afford to purchase the library, but I can 3-turn it. That's a +3 library. Perfect. Amazing. I'll get an extra warrior to defend my capital from that event. Yeah, I definitely want to grow to the gold, but I'm trying to think about where I'm going to set up my Hawilti carpet. And it's probably going to be all along this river basin. So I'm going to start growing there for that purpose. A lot of people say that the Great Stele is like one of the worst wonders in the entire game. I actually kind of disagree. So you can see here, 350 gold to convert to a city. I build a granary, and it should have gone down to 300. So buying these buildings actually makes it cheaper for these cities to grow. I really do think this urban center is just so good, because it gets you science and culture you can't get anywhere else. Only in the Antiquity Age, and only in cities you plan to convert into cities anyway. It gives you so much tempo. You do a little bit of exploring here. All right, so keep in mind, it's turn 20 now in terms of an online speed game, right? That's what I want you to think about there. Turn 20, that's crazy. Like how much more we've had to do in terms of managing our empire in a standard speed game compared to an online speed game. Like, I just feel so slow. I feel so gimped. It's a good granary city. I'll pop it right there. Get it growing a little bit faster. The saw pit, only 1 production. I think we're better off building our Hawiltis. We're going to put our monument in our altar right there, and we'll put a carpet of Hawiltis up over here. Let's vacuum up these units and then head down to vacuum up more. We want to go hunt city-states. I really do wish I could settle on resources. I would have loved to have settled on that silk, honestly. It would have been so nice. All right, let's come here and we pack up our army and make our way towards wherever these barb camps are. Gungnay, I will befriend. 15 turns until they're my friend. It's so long. It feels so long. All right, I'll take the culture. Boom. There's mysticism. We get to choose a pantheon. The pantheon doesn't matter too much in this particular game. I think Stone Circles is just generally a really good one, so I'll take it. It's generically good. Hawilti right there, and then we'll go for Momentum Adulatanum. We've got an enemy army commander. Let's vomit out our troops. Fortify with them to make it more likely that we can survive. Let's grow to the wine. I will even... Oh, I can't afford it, never mind. We'll grow to the marble. Awesome. Open borders. Thank you, brother. Thank you again. Oh! We're getting hit. We are going to need more slingers. I mean, look at this. It's turn 45. We've already got an invasion being dealt with us, right? Like I just don't think it works to go library first. I'm going to build the altar here. Naturally, that will bounce the pop onto another flat tile that I can place a Hawilti, right? Purchase that. It's a 2/4. Boom. It's an amazing tile. And we got this insane tempo coming out turn 45, which is effectively turn 22 on an online speed game. All right, there's masonry. We have access to the monument, production from mines and quarries, but we're also dealing with this. I don't know if you're going to survive if I keep you here. Let's grab masonry 2. Okay, we got a promotion on this guy. Playing against deity difficulty, you go down the left side of the bastion tree. That is just, in my opinion, the correct way to play. I think it's okay if people disagree with me. I'm going to take the +1 combat strength to infantry units for every city-state you're suzerain of. Make use of our units to be a little bit safer. Let's pull this warrior back a tile. Pull you back a tile. Shoot there. Get rid of this army commander. Didn't quite manage to get the kill. That's fine. 20% culture. Boom. +2 gold in all settlements. Boom. Shoot. The city is in danger. Let me grab a slinger. Let's grab that gold. Everything is cheaper now. You know, we're all starting to look quite a bit healthier. I'm going to move my army commander 1 tile to the left, and I will get my army commander to build fortifications while my slinger continues to fight. All right, turn 50. I'm going to swap the spearman into the city, take the slinger out, spearman fortify, and I'll move the slinger over to maybe into like a firing position if I can. So it's turn 50, right? We've got 28 science and 28 culture. Our capital has 16 production. Oh, that's so bad. Oh, 16 production. Holy shit. So let's take down some important metrics with this library rush. 16 production capital, 71 gold per turn, 28 culture, 28 science, 4 out of 3 settlement limit. Ew, don't like it. Let's reload. I'm gonna do the exact same thing again. I wanna show this off. I really wanna hammer home how much the game speed hides your crimes. Okay. This time, rather than rushing writing, we're going to go animal husbandry. And again, it's a fair criticism, right? I didn't play that game perfectly optimally. I have more knowledge of the game now. You know, all of these, there are plenty of fair criticisms to make of this analysis, right? All right, let's keep going. Just explore Mount Kilimanjaro. Excellent. Awesome. There's the influence. Send the spearmen out like we did before to kind of park here at Gieshi. +2 wildcard points. I'm going to take the militaristic point plus the expansionist points. We build our settlers faster. The city is going to grow. We want to grow to the incense like we talked about. And we need discipline. We'll take the classical republic, plus we will take charismatic leaders so we can get that even faster, right? Bring that down to 12 turns. Choose a celebration, cultural celebration plus tool making. This is now down to 9 turns, which is a really good time. We'll fortify our warrior right there so that he doesn't take too much damage when these units spot him and decide to start attacking. I can't remember what my scouting pattern looked like. It was kind of like vaguely like this, I guess. There's more influence. I wanted to befriend the city-state over here to the east, I think it was. There's one to the south as well. There's Saivash, another city-state that I want to kill. All right, we'll send the settler out. Narrative event. We want to pump culture early into the game. That's my opinion. I think culture is just better early. I don't think science is very good early. It's harder to get early and it's not as useful, in my opinion. Culture just does so many really powerful abilities. Befriend Nagtapunan, take 30 turns, awesome. We're trailing in civics, that's fine. Queue up another settler. With the benefit of hindsight, I would know that actually building a slinger right now would be really valuable. But I'm going to try not to use previous knowledge to my advantage. There's a saw pit, slinger, camps, woodcutters, food and pastures. Excellent. We want to get the saw pit up. And right here is a not so bad place. I don't think we have to necessarily rush the saw pit up, but we just wanted to get that placed. Then we're going to start researching masonry and the mastery of masonry. A slinger spawned instead of a warrior. I'm going to go on the offensive. I don't want him to just plink me for free damage. There's a neutral greeting for you. I probably should have just done a happy greeting. That was a misclick actually. I thought he was giving me an endeavor. Because I'm playing fast and I'm playing lazy because I'm just trying to make a point. Not make a point, I'm trying to show something off, right? I'm not playing this game like super hardcore. I'm not playing it for real. I'm just like, hey, look at this. This is important concepts for you to get as a player. All right, settlers are coming out.
Do nothing.
All right, you heal up while we bring you out. The capital city can grow. We grow to the incense. Perfect. Respond to diplomatic action. Thank you, Confucius. Periplus of the Erythraean Sea. Boom. We want to get our unique building. God, look at all these angry city-states. Jesus. All right, third city. Boosh. I'm going to buy... I can't remember when I bought the slinger. I think I bought it a little bit later than this. Just gonna buy it now. It's whatever. 15% production towards buildings in the capital. That's fine. We get the codex. Awesome. We're up to 15 science. Make sure we grow to the resources first. That extra gold per turn is awesome. Move the dates out like we did before. Put the incense in. Grow to the elephants. You heal up. Find this city state because we want to befriend them. Gungne. Move you there. Move you there. Move you here. Shoot once. Attack once. Trying to clear this really quick. Friendly greeting, Charles. Nice to meet you. Charlemagne Giheisa. Alright, we'll clear Gieschi. We'll get our maneuver promotion. I'm going to wait until next turn to clear it. Boom. We could build the Dur Jarakun. The exact wonder that we build doesn't matter as long as we get a wonder, if indeed we want one. Grow to the resource tile. Scoop this unit up. Make your way south. Alrighty, we are growing. Not looking to kill any of the other city-states right now. I'm trying not to play too divergently. There's the +1 production on mines and quarries, which is excellent. We have monuments, we have pyramids. All this stuff is starting to come online now. We're going to go for masonry too. Oh no, I'm under attack. Quickly, vomit out my units. Again, slightly different scenario. Basically the same. It's turn 31. Enemy units are approaching. You fortify on that tile. You have leveled up. We will take the Bastion promotion. The assault tree is pretty good, but I like Bastion. Bastion first allows you to fight the deities +8 combat strength. That's not where I clicked. Maybe I did misclick. Who knows? A flood. Okay, the city grew. We want to grow to the fish. The fishies. It's a little fishy. Please finish your fortifications. +6 combat strength is very, very important. We have enough influence to befriend Gungne, so I'll begin that process. Yeah, a couple of slingers can honestly do the job at defending against this, especially when you have the fortifications up. There we go. Settle this city right here, turn 34. It's a little bit later than the other ones, but it's fine. I'll take the 50 gold because I can use this to get a brickyard in this city. +3 gold per turn. Awesome. Move the sheep out, put the silk in. Although maybe I shouldn't do that because we're building a wonder and we need that done as soon as possible. All right. Slinger almost got murked. I'm going to pop him inside. I'm going to bring my spearman down. I need to buy a new unit next turn. I am going to purchase myself a warrior to defend this city, and I will grow to this tile so we can get closer to the gold. You're ready to grow. I'll grab this. Gold is starting to come online. It's beautiful. And there is Power Plus of the Erythraean Sea. We can now start building our Howelts. Hopefully the time will come for the Howelts. Let's use the Focus Fire command to get a little bit of extra damage. You fortify on that tile. You're coming down to assist. I didn't even get to explore like I did last time. I'm looking for mysticism. We want to get that monument adjacency, good Howelt tile if we can up pretty reasonably quick. Oh my god, so many militaristic independent peoples on this map, and they're so aggressive. No army commander this time though. There's masonry, +1 production on production buildings. So now we're going to start really snowballing. Let's move this army commander forward a tile and get this kill for the experience. And we'll begin irrigation here because that's a happiness tech. And we can start maybe moving out to be aggressive against the AI. I want to grow to my resource tiles in my cities, keep accepting all these deals. I'm just playing really quick and loose, right? This video is already taken me an hour and 20 minutes to record, so I want to get through it really quick. I'm going to deposit this slinger back so he can heal up. We'll get Dur Sharakun, probably not as good as the Great Stele. It's still fine. Its main purpose is to provide us with extra adjacency. So we'll grab the monument now. Narrative choice, thank you for the gold. We will use our gold in Kohito to get an extra saw pit. We'll get the granary next. We definitely want to get the gold up. I should have purchased, slight error, right? I bought the building before I annexed the gold. It's not the end of the world. Little errors like that, they stack up. Those little errors add up, right? But it's not, we're trying to show even imperfect play, right? You can still end up in a really good place. So hopefully these guys attack me a little bit. I'm building fortifications on my army commander. While my spearmen and slingers, I'm a little bit worried about this slinger taking too much damage. So I'm going to hide him in the city. I will get a free warrior though, which is nice. Choose a celebration. We want to go for the culture boost. Scout movement. Yay. We don't have mysticism as fast this time. It's turn 42. Oh no. Oh, a little flood in the capital. That's unfortunate. Nothing was actually damaged though. It's back kill here. You sling. I'm going to move my army commander one tile to the left so I can get experience from this warrior attacking. And we'll grow to the marble. Come into Kohito, we'll buy the granary, and now we can go urban center here for the +2 culture, +2 science. It could be worth it to stay on growing town so that we can get this fish up faster. Alternatively, quickly grabbing sailing to do a pop bounce, boop boop. Also worth it. Both are viable. Not my priority as it currently stands though. And I actually, I do want to make it clear. I really love the discussion about the meta. I think it's a lot of fun, which is why I've entered into the arena, right, where I'm going to be arguing. Well, I'm gonna say that I got the best meta, right? Because I think I'm awesome, and you should think you're awesome too, right? If you think you're good at something, be good at it, man. And don't be ashamed of that. You're getting a little bit too hurt. Oh, goddamn, the flood ruined my unit there. That's unlucky. But you can see we're getting so much experience. We're leveling up. It's all good stuff. You want to grow towards the wine. Start building these Hawilts.
There is one tree.
Move up with you. Get that kill. You step in here. Get this kill. Perfect. We're nailing them. 200 gold. Gulo. Get me your brickyard. I'll put it right there. Wait. That is a 2 adjacency tile, so maybe it's better placed here so that I bounce a pop over there. Yeah, okay. There's the wine. Wine is fantastic. Blah, 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 blah. There's mysticism. There's irrigation. We want to change the policies. We want to take out scout movement for the priest. 25 culture. Awesome. We want to go ahead and research Monumentum Adulatanum. The altar and monument gain +1 adjacency with the Hawilti. It's really, really strong. Yeah, you're lowering our relationship. That's fine. I can build the altar here. Look at that. Extra science, extra culture, extra happiness, bish bash bosh. And now we can begin researching the wheel or sailing or whatever. We can choose a pantheon. I'll just grab stone circles. It was the one that I grabbed last time. Let's grab the saw pit over here. Do I want gemstones or freeholder? I think gemstones would skew the production in the capital too much, so I'm just going to grab freeholders. I want to make this as fair a test as possible. People raised a lot of reasonable criticisms about the build that I advocated for in yesterday's video. So I wanted to put it through its paces a little bit more. Show, you know, this is something I have thought out. Infantry unit combat strength, yeah. All right, it's turn 50. And I think there is something about this test that doesn't perfectly reflect things, and it's that our tempo is a little bit better on this build. And what I mean by that is we're accelerating faster than the previous build. You know, next turn, we're going to be dropping down this. We'll get another one of these Hawilts. We'll get our gold culture, right? Consider the other build, we had 3 of these in a circle already, right? And I think this build has a lot more tempo than the previous one. You know, if I had like a couple more points of gold, I could have built a granary here. That would get me another science and culture out of this city. This city's about to be then invested into. It'll only take like 5 or 6 turns to get this up. And then all of these will be converted into cities to start cranking out buildings with their really high production. So let's actually do the comparison, right? So in the previous example, our capital had 16 production. This capital is 20. I think that's just strictly better, and not by a small amount. That is 4 production per turn. That is a ridiculous amount more production. It's 25% more. We're building 25% more stuff. That is a huge, huge production advantage that is only going to get stronger as we continue to develop this city. In terms of gold per turn, we're at 88 gold per turn. When previously we were at 71, that's about a 12% more gold per turn. Aksum, because Aksum generates so much base gold, it's actually going to undersell how much of a tempo advantage we have in terms of gold in this build. Because basically, if this build ends up with plus 10 gold, plus 10 gold looks like a lot less if you have 60 already, right? Whereas if we were playing another Civ where they only have 10 gold per turn, now it looks like we're doubling it, right? So just do keep in mind that Aksum is going to underplay just how much gold per turn we're up, right? 71 compared to 88, that's 17 gold per turn. It doesn't sound like a huge amount, but again, these marginal production improvements are going to allow you to get out more infrastructure, be able to get out more stuff, more military, more buildings, more wonders, more influence, all that stuff. Culture, 29 culture in this build compared to 28 in the previous build. We're about a turn away from getting a bunch more culture, right? Hawilts, all this stuff. I could even purchase more if I wanted to. Science, yes, we are down 7 science, but we're about to hit writing. Like we're literally about to double tap this and go straight to currency and begin skyrocketing up through the tree. We're at 4-4 city limit. We're not taking any penalties to our production. All of our cities are happy. And that's why I just really do feel, and I do think that the style of play feels less bad. Now you could say that the run that I did, it was suboptimal, all that sort of stuff, but I really just want to show you how playing at a higher speed hides your crimes. It hides, it makes you a worse player playing at a high game speed. Not in the sense that it makes you bad at the game, but what I mean is your optimizations are not rewarded and your mistakes aren't punished on a higher game speed as much as they are on a lower game speed. And there's a really simple illustration I can do with a paint timeline. So if we open a paint, it's a very simple thing that we can do. Let's imagine that this is the timeline of the game. Okay, I'm going to draw a line right there. Boom. Right, that's a line. And let's say we have 2 game speeds. Right, we have speed 1, where every turn is 1 notch on this thing. Right. So here's all your notches. Okay, and then we have another speed up top. I'll use a thicker brush to denote this game speed, where every turn is 2. Now you might think that, let's say if you're trying to build a monument in both scenarios, right? And in this In this version of the game, it takes 3 turns, right? So it takes 1, 2, 3 turns to get the monument, and then you get +2 culture, okay? It might be possible that in the slower game speed, you actually finish the monument here, and you're effectively up +1 culture, because the culture, the translation here is everything that goes up through here gets divided by 2. And then that means you start another building, like a production building, okay, on this turn, and it finishes here, let's say. Similarly, you do the production building here, it's +2 or whatever, right? We're just throwing out examples. So playing on a lower game speed, right, where the game isn't going as fast, actually rewards you slightly more for your optimizations, because optimal decisions happen earlier in the timeline. And similarly, playing on a faster game speed, let's say there's an enemy coming, okay, and I need to unlock a unit right here, okay? The enemy gets to my city here on this turn, and I'm going to unlock the unit here. I only have to deal with that enemy for 2 turns, okay? So it's very, very easy to hide my mistakes, because I'm only dealing with the enemy for 2 turns. If an enemy is 2 turns away from me on the lower game speed, okay, he's going to arrive here on this timeline, and I have to deal with him this whole time, okay? So you need to be a much better player, right? If it takes 2 turns for this person to arrive, well, sorry, I misplaced that. Should be there. Forget this part. They arrive at my city here, and I have to deal with them for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 turns before I'm able to get my answer, right? Where the problem is no longer a problem. So that is why playing at a higher game speed, right? This is online. It does not reward you for your optimizations, and it does not punish you for your mistakes, which is why I think you should play on a slower game speed if you're playing against the AI. With personal preference, yeah. Just, again, this is like one of those style things. I don't think there's anything wrong with playing on online speed. This is just like hey, don't compare what happens on this speed to what happens on this speed, because they're very different, okay? That's the sort of mistake I've been seeing a lot of people doing. Anyway, I want to thank you guys very much for watching. I love you all very much, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.